So with that critical context, Richard, I'd like to transition to specific initiatives and platforms you are hosting or pursuing as a way to realize the Secretary's vision. The ability to maintain institutional knowledge has always been a challenge for state, given the fact that folks rotate on assignments every, I think, 2 years. To that end, would you briefly describe the range of collaboration and knowledge-sharing platforms developed and supported by your office?
Excellent. This is what I'd like to say is that today people are using email like a hammer, where they sometimes need a screwdriver and a pair of pliers. So they're pounding screws into the table with their hammer, and while it may at first be uncomfortable using a screwdriver, once they get the handle of it, they'll understand that it's a lot better way to do it. So we think of a range of collaboration and information sharing platforms. One is where you have evolving persistent knowledge, something that is, there's not a lot of social to it, but it changes over time. Think of the signed authoritative PDFs that may be up in your organization. Another is where you have information where you have a social side to it. Maybe somebody shares something and they want to get a reaction to it, but it doesn't depend on that interaction to be valid. A third is where you have your personal set of information about what you do, what you've done, your skill set, your interests, what you're working on, and you want to be able to share that. It's more personal, but you want to be able to share it across the enterprise. Then you have idea generation, where people have ideas and others have the ability to implement those ideas. And that whole gamut of, from those four kind of types of information sharing and collaboration, if you pulled out of your email inbox everything that fell into one of those four buckets, you'd probably shrink your email inbox by 2/3, which would make it much easier just to hold your email inbox for discrete transactions. So that in a nutshell is kind of what we're trying to do, and we've had, I think, pretty high success.
So building on that summary, could you tell us a little bit about Diplopedia? How has it sought to maintain institutional memory, foster collaboration, and cultivate connection within your department?
So Diplopedia would be that evolving, persistent knowledge. Think of the information it's the institutional memory, information that changes periodically, and you want to make it easy to change that record, but you want it easily accessible at the same time. Again, in an organization like the State Department, where an official message that leaves the State Department as a cable carries the Secretary of State's name at the bottom, an official message that leaves an embassy, a cable carries the name of the ambassador. That's very hierarchical. It's very authoritative. Unfortunately, it's for these evolving persistent knowledge, it doesn't kind of fit well. So Diplopedia was the perfect medium for this. It's a wiki just built on the same software that Wikipedia is built on. And we found that it's grown tremendously. We have over 15,000 articles, over 5,000 contributors, about 35,000 page views a week. And increasingly, it's the place where people go to find information. Let me just give a real simple example of where this was useful. Our account reps, what you could call them, are our desk officers. They're the ones that manage the relationship between our embassy to a country and that country's embassy to the U.S. here in Washington. And they're kind of gatekeepers and traffic cops for information to make sure information gets across, and they manage visits and comings and goings. But those people who are desk officers, oftentimes it's their first tour in Washington. They've been overseas for maybe 4 years, 2 tours as a Foreign Service officer. They show up in Washington, and now there's a whole bunch of things that they need to know how to do. But chances are, since everybody else in their office is turning over every couple of years, there's not a lot of human institutional memory. So we helped these desk officers develop a portal within Diplopedia called Deskopedia. And it is an aggregation of all the information that a desk officer would need to perform those functions, even if it's something they only need to do every once in a while. Incredibly effective, incredibly useful, and if any information is stale, any desk officer, or for that matter, any person in the State Department can update it.